Hey guys, it's me Mr. 250 and welcome back to Danganronpa 2. Time to investigate Nagito's murder. And I think this one is going to be particularly interesting. There's a lot going on here, I feel. We got a couple bits of evidence. And let's talk to people first, as I usually do. It mattered for Gundam killing and for Meekins. But it looks like it's different this time. Doesn't matter this time. What doesn't matter?
So...
The time. Looks like the time doesn't matter. It was clearly written in the Monokuma file. The time of death was noon sharp. It was at noon. What were we doing at that time? What were we doing? Well, right now it's
time.
It's 12:30 p.m. So it also has a clock function. And that means Nagito died 30 minutes ago. It happened that recently? He's totally a fresh kill. Fresh? Seems like a bad way to describe it. If it happened 30 minutes ago, was it around the time we were struggling with the bombs? You're right. Those fake bombs were originally supposed to explode at noon.
All right!
Which means whoever doesn't have an alibi for that time is Nagito's killer. But this could be like when Nekomaru died. The killer could have also used some kind of automatic setup. Also, the crime looks very detailed, so they would have needed time to prepare.
All right!
Then whoever doesn't have an alibi before we found the bombs is suspicious.
Huh?
Wait, none of us have an alibi for that time. That's when we all split up to search for the bombs. Yeah, that's the problem. I kind of saw it coming, you know? Everyone all off by themselves makes it really hard to nail down what we were doing. I'm not freaking out about it like Kazuichi, but I definitely can't stop thinking about it. When the Monokuma timer reaches 0 2 days from now, what's going to happen? What's gonna happen?
That's obviously wrong.
This rotten school trip is gonna end, right? I can finally go back home. Carefree till the end. Does that mean you don't think that'll happen?
Well, yeah.
Monokuma might be planning to make us do something after the countdown ends.
Hey!
What do you mean, something?
Shut up! Shut up!
He's making us kill each other, you know? What could be worse than that? Oh, don't ask that. I don't know. This is Monokuma we're talking about, you know? There's no way this will end smoothly with a countdown. Anyway, like you said before, if we screw up here, it's the end for us. For now, let's focus on the investigation. We'll think about the countdown after we live through the class trial.
I know.
I know.
You...
Then don't bring up strange stuff like that. She looks like she's deep in thought while staring at the ceiling. What happened? Is there something strange about the ceiling?
Yep.
Yeah, about that sprinkler. It's one of the sprinkler heads that activated to put out the fire.
Well,
You can see a girder right next to it, right? There.
see?
Yeah, I saw the line of blood up there too. Can you see that red streak? I think you mean a pink streak. But yeah, I saw it too. You're right, I definitely see it. Looks like a small red line on the ceiling girder.
Perhaps.
Is that blood? Blood? The color definitely looks like blood. But there's no way blood could get up there, right? Plus, it's in a straight line. That's why I've been staring at it. I think it's strange. It's definitely strange. I should remember this. Maybe one of these things that was used to kill him or something went up there first. That is really odd. Like, it's so odd that you definitely need to keep it in mind. One of us killed Nagito in such a cruel way? It's too bizarre. Can't do anything but laugh.
Just as I thought.
If only everyone could go home. Nothing would make me happier. No, we should finish the class trial. Then we can think about what will happen after. Alright, let's take a look at these fire grenades. I don't like the idea of fire grenades. I know they're real, but they just feel wrong for some reason. Especially considering that we thought there were more firefighting materials there. Someone said they did. It's an oil lighter. This is where the curtains would have been hanging. It also looks like the fire did extensive damage here. If the oil lighter was placed here...
Just kidding.
An oil lighter! Someone probably wanted to keep warm.
Bring it on.
Is a most foolish thought. This is clearly the cause of the fire.
Well?
Oil lighters can continue to burn even after someone lets go of them.
Which means?
So, using that, the curtain was set on fire. Using the oil lighter, huh? Do you think the killer set up some sort of trick with it?
You are right.
The killer probably planned to destroy evidence by setting this warehouse on fire. They caused a fire to destroy evidence? That's the only reason I can think of why a killer would set a fire to their crime scene, but... See, my issue with that is, if their intention was to set fire to the crime scene, there's two problems. One is they did a really bad job. I would think if they really were trying to destroy evidence, they would have put some kind of, flammable something, gasoline on Nagito or something. Everything but the crime scene seems to be burned, if that makes sense. Like, this is the crime scene, which didn't really get any burn damage. Everything else did. So it almost seems to encourage you to look at it. Like, they're trying to get you to see the murder that happened. That's one thing. Second thing is that this building is very unflammable, as I said before. It looks like it's made out of concrete and steel, for the most part. So the likelihood of the building actually catching on fire, I feel, is pretty low. They might have torched some of the boxes. But even that, I feel, isn't going to go too far. Let's see. Was the curtain a thing we could look at? We looked at the fire grenade. Oh no, we looked at the lighter. Let's look at the fire grenade. Looks like a bunch of plastic bottles. Remnants of plastic are scattered all over the place. This is probably... those fire grenades that we used to put out the fire. Well, they weren't actually that useful in the end. The fire was only extinguished thanks to the sprinklers. Well, nevertheless, this evidence really isn't all that strange. Now we get into something very interesting. Why does the Monokuma plushie have a hole in it with blood? Monokuma's dead. There's blood coming out of his stomach. Hey. No response. He's dead, Jim. Just kidding. I'm not dead. Is this one of the life-size plushies that was being produced at this factory? If you're mistaking a plushie for me, then there's something wrong with you. You're a stuffed animal, too.
Hey!
Don't put oversized garbage there. It's so misleading.
What the heck?
What are you calling oversized garbage? Could this be one of Monokuma's tricks? Then why'd he do it? Making a hole like it got stabbed, and going to the trouble of dirtying the hole with blood. Did he try to imitate Nagito's body or something?
What are you saying?
I had nothing to do with that. Huh?
You're so evil.
He's probably lying. Seriously, you're always lying. You should just die like that plushie over there.
What's this?
You seem more annoyed than usual these days, Monami. But you better watch what you say. If I feel like it, I can wipe you out easily, you know? I won't give in to your threats. I'll fight you until the very end.
I can't lose.
I will definitely take back the seat of world supremacy from Monokuma. Seat of world supremacy, that sounds evil. Looks like those annoyances are gone. If it wasn't Monokuma's trick, then who did this? Could the killer have done this? If so, is this Nagito's blood? I have no idea how this connects to the incident. What if, the Monokuma plushie was intended to hide the spear device that's in him? I have no idea what that is. But whatever it is, what if it was intended to hide it? And so they stabbed him through it, you know? And then they pulled it out and reset the crime scene, you know, to look like Nagito was stabbed this way. And I feel like there might have been some kind of weird pulley system or something which caused the blood to get up here. And maybe the pulley got burned or something? Maybe like a... I don't know. Anyway, on to the main theme. I never expected Nagito to die like this. He was always spouting nonsense about hope and trying to confuse the crap out of us. But even so, dying like this is just too cruel. Also, he wasn't completely useless. There were times we were only able to reach the truth because of him. But everything good and bad about him is gone. Think we can steal his book out of his pocket now? We'll never be confused by him again. We'll never be saved by him again. No. Now isn't the time to think about unnecessary things. I need to focus on the investigation right now. For now, I need to investigate everything about this body that catches my eye. We got quite a number of things here. Both of Nagito's legs are tied up. I really like his hoodie jacket thing. It looks so cool, doesn't it? Each rope is tied to the pillars nearby. He wouldn't have been able to move at all. According to the Monokuma file, the wounds on his legs are all stab wounds. Does that mean the killer didn't just tie up Nagito, they also stabbed his legs? Maybe they were trying to lure information out of him, you know, where are the bombs or something. Why would the killer do something like that?
Damn it!
At any rate, it's pretty sadistic. The killer must have been holding a huge grudge toward him. Or they might have been torturing him. Torture?
Huh?
I mean, if they just wanted to kill him, they could have just stabbed him once in the chest, right? If you disregard the spear in his chest, the other wounds were inflicted for reasons other than killing. Which means the wounds all over Nagito's body were from the killer torturing him. If that's the case, what was the killer trying to make Nagito confess? Was it something that would have led to the traitor?
Even so.
That's what I'm thinking. You know, especially considering Nagito said, what, you might as well just go and torture me. Well, so it looks like someone did. Well, even if this was torture, there's no doubt that the killer must have held a deep grudge towards Nagito.
Damn it!
Refusing to let him die easily. I can totally understand a dark impulse like that. But even if they held a grudge against him, would they really have gone this far? You know, that's another thing as well. Because there's a couple people here that we've seen that kind of like flipped their lid, so to speak. You know, Akane and, I don't think Kazuichi would do it, but, you know. Kazuichi's a little strange, so it might actually have been a thing that happened with him. But, regardless, maybe someone was trying to set it up to look like they did it. You know, try to look like they tortured him. But then again, don't they say, like, victims don't bleed very much after they're dead? Though if it was done at like pretty much the time of death, it could have probably still worked, I think. I don't know enough about about dead bodies. Nagito's right wrist is tied with a rope, but it looks like the tip of that rope burned off. Could this be a result of the fire? But that's weird. If the rope is burned off like this, why are Nagito's clothes completely unaffected by the fire when he was so close to the blaze? Oh, that's true. They would at least get a little bit singed. So maybe that was part of the setup as well. That's actually a really good thought that I didn't even think about while looking at that. The knife is stabbed through Nagito's right hand. Did the killer do this? How could they do something so cruel? This knife, it must be from the military base. Military base? Ah, now that you mention it, you're right. It looks like a survival knife.
Well?
By the way, it seems the wounds on his legs and left arm were caused by that same knife. Which means after the killer was finished stabbing Nagito's legs and left arm, they stabbed the knife through his right hand.
It cannot be.
And then they finished him off with a spear.
How cruel.
Then does that mean the killer went to the trouble of using two weapons? A knife and a spear? But they could have just killed him by stabbing him with a knife. Why did they need to use the spear at all?
You are right.
That is definitely strange. Was there a reason they had to use it? A reason they had to use the spear, huh? I was comprehending the possibility that Nagito's a sick guy and he decided to stab himself and then proceed to, like, have a device drop a spear on him. But that's seemingly a little difficult considering that his left hand appears to be tied up and fairly taut, and his right hand is stabbed through, which would be very difficult to do with his left hand in that situation. So I don't quite think he could have done some of these things, but he couldn't have done the whole thing by himself. Just keeping my mind open here, you know. Can't trust that Nagito. This spear is very interesting, because I feel like it might not necessarily be a spear in the truest sense. I mean, it is in a physical sense, like he got stabbed by it, but I don't think that was its intended use. A spear with a flashy ornament on it is impaled deeply into Nagito's stomach. There's no way around it. That looks like the fatal wound.
What's this?
Oh my, what's this? Such a strange looking spear, isn't it? The cord extends from the tip of the handle, and there's an iron weight attached to it.
Phew.
I see. Use the cord as a whip to capture the enemy, and deliver the final blow with the spear. Is this your first time looking at this too? Of course not. This is the Spear of Gungnir, right? You definitely just came up with that just now.
Hey!
By the way, I wanted to ask you, where did that spear come from? I feel like I saw it at Nizumi Castle.
What?
Nizumi Castle?
What the hell?
I was designed to be afraid of mice, so I can't go in there. Dang it, mice, dang it! I see. Even he doesn't know what's inside that castle. Unless, of course, it's all a ruse. Well, more importantly, I need to focus on the investigation. The spear definitely catches my eye, but the weight on the end of the cord coming out of the handle, it looks like that part has blood on it too. But for some reason, this section of cord doesn't have blood on it. It's about the size of a human fist. It's strange that this section of the cord doesn't have blood on it. This is actually quite odd. Also, Chiaki mentioned this earlier, but apparently that spear came from Nizumi Castle. It might be better if I confirm that later. That is a strange thing. It has like like a cord attached to it with a weight. Which almost certainly feels like that's going to be a part of the murder. You know, like you probably couldn't have done whatever they did with just a regular spear. There's a cut on his upper left arm. His legs and right hand have stab wounds, but this wound looks like a slice. That's probably the reason that the wound on his left arm doesn't look that deep compared to his other wounds. But regardless, it doesn't change the fact that it's a hideous wound, and there's blood everywhere.
Super difficult.
There's something strange. Strange? What is it?
See?
Look at the palm of his left hand. I think that blood is from when his left arm was sliced, but doesn't that blood splatter look strange? It cuts off right in the middle of his palm. Which might be where that hand-sized print is supposed to be at on the cord. It definitely cuts off. Maybe that's as far as the blood could reach when it's splattered. Well, that would explain the blood in his palm, but something else that's strange? When you flip it over and look at the back of his hand,
Well?
there's also blood, but only above the middle joint of each finger. You're right. Why is it only on this part?
See?
It's just as I said, right? It's strange, right? I win. Yeah, sure, you win. That's definitely going to be important as well. But it's definitely strange. What did the killer do to make the blood splatter like this? That is very odd. And finally, the face. He looks to be a bit distressed. He must have been in great pain. He clearly had this agonizing look on his face when he died. His mouth is covered with duct tape. Was this to keep Nagito from screaming for help?
This is bad.
Jeez, what a horrible look on his face. The blood splattered all over doesn't help either. It's a good thing his mouth is covered with duct tape. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to look at him. Got a minute? Sorry, excuse me. Chiaki moved past Kazuichi and me, and squatted down next to Nagito's face. Yeah! And in one swift movement, she ripped the duct tape off his mouth. Hey, what are you doing?
It's gonna be fine.
I'll put it back right away once I'm done investigating here.
Hey, hey, hey!
Putting the tape back isn't the issue, you ungrateful swine. You're gonna get cursed. The blood on Nagito's face. It looks like it mostly came from the slice on his left arm. If that's the case,
Man.
it's no use. She's not listening.
Hey, hey.
Hey, how about the blood splattered on his face? There's no blood under the duct tape.
Huh?
What's wrong with that?
Well?
This duct tape is crinkles, like it was sticking towards the inside of his mouth, right? Nagito was probably desperately moving his mouth under the duct tape. Seriously, what's wrong with that? She means Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he got those wounds all over his body. So he tried to shout, which caused the duct tape to get sucked into his mouth a bit. But what's wrong with that? Is that something we really need to worry about? I don't really get it, but just put the duct tape back in his mouth already.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, this might be some kind of clue too. I should remember it. Duct tape. I guess I'm done with the area surrounding Nagito's body. Jeez, I can't believe I actually investigated such a grisly-looking body. Even I'm surprised at myself. Does this mean I'm used to it? My classmate's dead body is right in front of me, and one of my peers is the killer responsible. And I have to investigate his death so I can find his killer. Am I used to something as abnormal as that? That would mean I'm becoming abnormal too. Now then, I guess that's enough investigating the area behind the curtain. The killer's goal wasn't just killing Nagito. There should have been another reason as well. If not, they wouldn't have gone to the trouble of tying him with rope and covering his mouth with duct tape. Not just that, There's no reason to inflict any wounds other than a fatal one. So what was the reason? Looks like I better investigate other areas to figure that out. Alright. I should try investigating the other areas inside this warehouse first. Alright, so what else we got? Do you guys have anything else important to say? Yes, we finally get to talk about the MP3 player. Looks like the side is completely soaked because of the sprinkler. Even if there was an important clue here, we might not be able to notice it. But it's better than the warehouse burning to the ground. Good thing we were able to put out the fire.
Hey, hey.
But there was a lot of smoke. It's a good thing we didn't go inside when we were throwing the grenades.
You are right.
I agree. If we did, we would have been caught up by the sprinklers and become all wet and soggy. Sonya's all wet. She's all drenched and soggy. Ha!
Hey!
You were thinking that, huh?
Of course not!
I wasn't thinking that at all.
Say what?
Why are you responding, Kazuichi? I was asking Hajime.
Whoa!
You're screwing with me?
Disgusting.
Oh my, screwing. How lewd.
Hey!
Please don't look at me with such fearful eyes. I only imagined it for a second. Kazuichi, you should probably just keep your mouth shut already. I was entertaining. Well, even though I did say I was gonna freaking kill him,
Hey!
there's no way I would have actually done it. I was just upset, you know? Yeah, that's probably not the best thing to be saying now. You know, we're already suspicious of you.
Jeez, you're
Think about the countdown after we live through the class trial. Looks like Sonya is focused on investigating the warehouse. Which reminds me, there's something I needed to ask her about. Now that we pretty much finished investigating Nagito's body, I think it's time to talk to her. Hey Sonya, do you have a minute? Yes? What is it? I want to talk to you about when that fake bomb Nagito set in the warehouse exploded.
Huh?
Right before it exploded, you said something like this, right? It is all right. It is not a bomb. Why did you know that the bombs were a fake? Well, that's not all either. When we were looking for the bombs, why were you at the military base? I thought you were supposed to be searching the central island. Plus, when I called for you, you didn't come to the factory right away. Where were you and what were you doing during that time?
Oh my! It cannot be!
Do you suspect me? It is a misunderstanding. I am not the killer. That sounds like Whoa. That sounds like something the killer would say. Sonya?
I am sorry!
I was panicking. I shall calm down and explain to you why I was at the military base. When I first explored the final island, I discovered a vast amount of bombs there. Huh?
Well?
At first, I was worried that someone might use them for nefarious reasons if I announced it to everyone. So I kept silent the whole time. Does that mean when you heard Nagito planted bombs, you got suspicious and went to investigate them?
That is...
And as I suspected, the bombs had disappeared. I thoroughly searched for them inside the military base, but the bombs were nowhere to be found. And because you were searching for them, you were late when we all gathered.
Please listen!
And because of that, I reached a conclusion. The bombs Nagito brought were from the military base, which means they were fake bombs. How did you find out that the bombs at the military base were fake? Because I attempted to use one of them. What?
I see.
I thought one of the bombs would be strong enough to blast open the door to the ancient ruin. At the time, I still believed the bombs were real. And I thought I could use one of them to gain entrance to the ancient ruin.
That plan was an utter failure.
Look at Monami hiding behind the roots. That's where you would have died if they were real.
The bomb was not real. It was merely a fireworks display. God damn it, all to hell!
I see. So that's why you're the only one who knew the bombs at the military base were fake.
I did. As did Monami as well. She was also secretly peeking at the bomb. Which means...
If those bombs are the same ones that disappeared, it would mean Nagito took them. That is why I knew it was a fake. However, I did think it was strange when Nagito blew up the hotel lobby. Ah! That bomb was real, and I could not stop thinking about it. But upon further reflection, that might have been Nagito's plan all along. He showed us a real bomb to make us believe that the bombs he set were real as well. If so, then Nagito's actions were extremely calculated. But the problem is his reason for doing it. With this, I've explained everything.
Do you have a minute?
There should be no more reason for you to doubt me. You're right, I got it. Sign his account. Mattered for Gundams killing him for Meekins.
Hey!
We already know this. Do you have nothing else to say? Wait, did she say something about an alibi? I missed that. Hold on. Sorry.
Hey! Like,
Oh, no one has an alibi. Yeah, okay. That's cool, I guess. We got books. A bunch of books stacked up on top of each other. Apparently they contain Monokuma's poetry and photos. Sprinklers completely soaked them. I can't even turn to the pages anymore. Well, it's not like I'm missing much. There are a lot of tipped over Monokuma panels. Panel near the curtain in the back is tipped over and burned. Did the fire do that? But why are they scattered like this? The last time I came here, I seem to recall. It should have been neatly put away. Ah. They set up something so when the door was open, the fire started, I think. Maybe we're the ones who made this mess. Huh?
See?
Look, the tipped over panel by the entrance is really close to the door, right? So maybe the reason these panels are tipped over is... It's fine, I'll open it slowly. I'll be fine. And she went and, like, kicked down the door or something. I'm not gonna read all this, sorry. Yep, she did kick it down. Could it be... was that it?
Well?
And there's something else I've been wondering.
Hey.
Those Monokuma panels are tipped over starting from the entrance to the back of the warehouse, right? They seem to be lying on top of each other in a straight line. Yeah, compared to the other tipped over panels, that line is the only one that's neat and orderly.
So...
Isn't this clearly strange? Strange. That means we can speculate this was done intentionally. I was planning on doing a couple more, but I am running out of time. So we're going to stop there for today, and we'll pick up on this next time. But hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!